couple of years ago I stood on this spot in, I think it was April, and we had a freak snowstorm. There was no prior indication that it was going to happen, but a freak snowstorm. Clouds came in, snowed quite heavily, I mean really heavily for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and it was gone again. And in that time I managed to get a wonderful shot of someone walking on this S-bend of a path down here. It was rather nice. And coming back here today has got me thinking a little bit about kind of images I've shot in the past and the kind of images I'm shooting now. And it's led me to ask the question, have I got a style? And do I need one? Answers on a postcard, please. But I guess also by extension, I suppose the question is, do you have a style and do you need one? Because it's one of those questions that sometimes we ask ourselves and perhaps we don't have the answers. Once upon a time I called myself a landscape photographer, and I don't think that's true, to the point where I don't actually tend to say that anymore. I have a new phrase. I don't know whether I've come up with it or whether it's something I've borrowed from somewhere else, but I call myself an observational photographer. What does that mean? Well, I suppose it's one of those all-encompassing phrases that you might come up with when you don't really know the answer. But I think the truth is more that I do know the answer, and the answer is I will take a photograph of absolutely anything that catches my eye, that I think I can capture in some kind of interesting way. It's been insanely chilly walking across from the car on the main road over there. I've had to put my gloves on. These are the Valeray Markov Pro gloves. There's a link in the description to them. They're fantastic things. Nothing against them. I don't like wearing gloves. I've taken them off the minute I've got a bit of shelter. But walking across there, oh hell, that was just so cold, and they've saved me somehow there. Anyway, by the by, what I've been looking for, or perhaps what I should be saying is what I've been observing is the landscape. I've been trying to find something to photograph, and I have found it, and it's across here. I haven't quite set it up yet. I did take a handheld shot of it a moment ago, but the light is wonderful. And when I say wonderful, what I mean is it's really quite harsh actually, but it works just fine here. I have put a polarizer on because I am about 45 degrees to the sun, 45, 90 degrees to the sun. Don't know my angles, don't know anything. Don't know whether I'm coming or going. And the shot which you may be able to see is a little bit of the this pool here, the structure of fences and whatever, and then further in the background you've got the villagers' salt house with the church up on the hill. And it's quite a nice shot. There was a bit more cloud in the sky. The polarizer has pulled a little bit more of that out. I don't know whether I wait to get a bit more interest in the sky or whether I just compose and take the shot and walk away. I've got to be honest, there's not a great deal here. When I say there's not a great deal, this is a wildlife area, you know, Norfolk Wildlife Trust, National Trust, everything. You know, loads of overwintering birds here, but I'm not a birding photographer, I'm not a wildlife photographer. I don't have the enthusiasm, I don't have the patience to kind of sit and wait for these things. But in preparation for such possibilities, I did put my 40 to 150 on with the 2x teleconverter, so I have quite an insane reach on the camera right now, and I've swapped the lens a couple of times, and you know, just a bit, I haven't observed enough. Now I need to get quite low here to get the kind of angle that I need, and I've got to shoot through this wire fence. This is slightly awkward because I need to get low in order to get the composition I want, but if I do that I'm shooting right the way through some grasses that are very close by, which are a ruddy nuisance, and they're not close enough to completely obliterate them. Maybe if I come a little bit this way I can avoid most of them, I think. That's possible, maybe. Nearly. Perhaps here. Perhaps here. Let's see what we've got. Yes, that's better. Although there's still some right there. Like my finger makes any difference. I'm not sure how to get through them, over them, whatever. Maybe just come up to here. Oh, that is better. By quite a bit, actually. Something like that. So when I first spotted this composition, I was quite a way back, and the light picks up some of the fence and such down here, and it began to pick up a little bit of the posts that I was interested in over there. And I wanted to get to a position where I could have a kind of diagonal line leading through the image from the posts to the church over there. But also I need to get low so I can compress that big gap of green marsh in that composition, so it doesn't become a kind of no man's land of losing your eye through it, because there's not a lot of definition through it. Arguably there's more definition as we rise up, because we begin to see some more of the water, the pools and such that are through there, and just provides that little bit more interest. But as I say, by doing that we also just open it up a little bit too much, to my mind, and it creates kind of vastness of not very much, whereas the foreground interest is in the closest pool, which I'm sure you can see, the fence structures, and then leading to the village and the church beyond. I hope you like the image. So, a photographic style. Do you need one? Do you have one? Are you aware of it? So let's talk about me. Style. I don't think I have a style. I have here an iPad. It's the only Apple device you'll ever see me use, and I hate this. But I'm going to show you some images on it that I've just kind of checked at random, really. Some of them you may have seen on the channel before, others you may not have seen. I'm not sure I've shown all of them, probably not, but yeah, it's a random selection, and I just do not think that there's a style going through any of them. And I'm not entirely certain that there can be, because if I'm an observational photographer, I'm taking photos of things that are kind of there wherever I am. Yeah, some of the things might be set up in a studio environment, in which case, of course, I've chosen that thing. I've selected it from perhaps the kitchen drawer, or wherever it happens to have come from. Recently, it came from the from a bag of rubbish, and yeah, I'm taking photos of weird stuff. Is there a style in that? I can't find one. So, if you think I've got one, please do let me know. So, as I say, this is an entirely random selection going through my exported photos folder. Some of these are images that you'll undoubtedly have seen. Some might not be. There's at least one or two of them that have been put into my members section as well. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are because I'd like you to become a member. Oh, and look, nearly empty. Buy me a coffee. And we'll go with perhaps the weirdest first, which is this one. What did I see in this image? Well, let's just quickly talk about it. So obviously what we have is we've got the simplicity of this grey area. And it just kind of melds into one, doesn't it? But out of that, we've got another simple shape. We've got the hole through which we've got something kind of just oozing out, and it's got that shape, it's got that real interesting form to it, hasn't it? And it's making its way, it's kind of edging down to the gutter there, and it's like, that's quite an interesting kind of shot, isn't it? And has the colour as well. Yeah, it's grey and it's green, and the green really shows out of it. Style. I mean, obviously you can't detect style from one image, so perhaps we'll look at another one. We'll go with this one. Black and white image. Again, there's a simplicity to this. I don't need to describe it, do I? Yeah, we've just got all of these little gondolas on this wheel. Carefully placed, of course. This is careful positioning to ensure that this bottom one down here gets the kind of separation off the edge of the image that it needs, because if it touches, we start losing the impact of it. But of course, really, yeah, it's the second gondola here that's the kind of focal point. The rest of them are just that iteration of the shape again and again and again running through the image. And of course, we've got this sweeping curve running up. It's just one of those shots that kind of grabs the attention and your eye just leads through. It's following that line up there. So we kind of anchor off here, but the main one that I think we see is that one there. And I think that's a really, really nice, striking image. Minimalism, I can't even say it, minimalism at its best. And I'm trying not to crow here because I often do not like a lot of my images. But here I'm showing you a selection that I have chosen. It's random. Yeah, what I mean is I just went through a folder and said, oh, that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So, yeah. So there's a certain minimalism in others here as well, but some of it is a lot more complicated. So let's go for something that's a bit more complicated. Here we go. I don't know whether you've seen this one before or not. It's a rather nice image. Obviously, we have a main focus being the boat here. And without doubt, your eye is drawn straight to that. We've got a line that runs through here, and it runs into that space. It's not a big line, but we've got the little highlights on the sea lavender, I think it is, running through here. But the more we look at this image, the more we get to see out of it. So we've got this mooring post here, but also, yeah, if you look harder, you've got the mooring rope at the bottom there, the front warp. We've also got the purple of the sea lavender here, which is really lovely, and it's kind of emphasising, it's anchoring this bottom edge of the image. To a degree, there's some colour synergy between the sea lavender down here and the blue of the boat. The boat's called Solo for your information, so if I refer to it as Solo later on, actually, there's not another image of Solo in here, but I have shot Solo on many occasions. And on this occasion, it's not quite Solo because there's just this hint of another one at the back there. If I were to criticise this image at all, it would probably be for that back there. But you've really got to kind of look to see that. Now, you might argue that there's a certain amount of dead space here, and I don't think there is. Yeah, you've got this kind of area here that's not doing much. There's not a lot in it, but it's serving a purpose. Let me describe. What it's doing is we've got the line leading to the boat, we've got this other line leading to the boat, we've got the shoreline leading to the boat here. We've effectively got 3 lines taking your eye to the main subject. But is it a style? This doesn't resemble in any way the images that I've shown you so far here, or indeed any of the others that you see in this selection of images here. Let's go for a very different image. I say very. Is it so different? Is this image down here so different from that image there? Perhaps it isn't. There's a simplicity to this as well. A chance photograph this. I was literally driving past this building on the way to somewhere else, and I saw these window cleaners abseiling down, and the light was amazing. And I thought, I've got to take a picture of that. I'm not late. I've got a bit of time. So I parked up quite close by, got the camera out, put a long lens on. I was probably standing at the other end of this building. It's probably, I don't know, 80 yards long, something like that, this building, perhaps not quite that. And I got a series of photographs of these window cleaners here. And I really do like this image. It's very monotone, but it's not mono. This is a colour image. Obviously not quite as it came out of camera. It has been edited, but I haven't played with the tones dramatically on this. So yeah, this is pretty much what my eye saw there. But again, is there a style here? We're working again with lines, repeating lines and patterns. They're all over the place here, and we're breaking it up with these couple of silhouettes. And again, it's simple. Could you turn around and say simplicity is a style? I don't think so, no, because as photographers, in order to convey our message, our story, our image as best as possible to the people that are looking at it, we need to maintain that simplicity, because if we complicate an image, if we overcomplicate an image, it can be difficult to look at because you don't necessarily know what to look at. Now, there are some incredibly good photographers out there that can take photographs of incredibly complicated scenes and have things argue that, a line here, that leads to this line, that leads to this line, and all such. And I applaud them, because if they've seen that at the time that they're shooting it, mind blown, it's amazing. And I'll be absolutely frank with you. I have never sat down with any of these images before and said the stuff I'm saying now, because I don't sit back and I don't tend to analyse them, which is perhaps a bit mad, because perhaps I should. I've said this many times in the field about taking photographs, and it's that process of talking the composition through with somebody at the time of taking it. And by doing that, I can analyse and I can identify why I'm taking the photo. But I don't think I've ever really done it after the fact. Other people, Nikki can do it fine with my images and say why it works or why it doesn't. But I don't sit back and do it. So this is rather cathartic for me as well. This is going on and on and on. I think I will show you 2 images of the same thing here. A very similar kind of style for both of them. It's the same location, different times of the year. I will confess to having edited this a lot. This was in summer, as you can tell. There were other people around, so I've removed heads and such from the tops of these and the like, and I've done a good job of it. But it was all about making a clean image and getting him or somebody smack bang in the middle of that. If we contrast that again with an image taken at a different year, different time of year, you can see it's the same place. Barely any editing in this. Just before sundown, October, November time. And yeah, hardly anybody around. This is the seafront at Great Yarmouth, so it's very busy in summer, very not busy out of season. There's a video about this, so you can go and check it out. This, I suppose, is a style that's the same kind of style as the last one, where the subjects are the same, the intention of the image is the same, but if you were to look through all of these, we'll quickly just whiz through. You know, seascape style, don't know, slightly long exposure. Abstract. If you've not seen this, this is the inside of a box. You heard that right. It's the inside of a box. It's just an abstract image. Could you then contrast it with this and say, I've got a style? Answers on a well, no, not answers on the postcard. Answers down below. There's just so many things around to shoot that I think I don't want a style particularly. Well, certainly not for this kind of work. I think if I had a style where it would really matter is if I was a photographer that was looking for work. If I had a portfolio of images that all kind of sat within a kind of style, then it would serve potentially to get me work, because I could be booked upon someone saying, I like that kind of style, then yeah, book him. That would be good. I like that, book him. Because yeah, that's what an art buyer perhaps wants and needs for their project at the time. But for landscapes and bits and bobs like that, do I need a style? Do you need a style? I think the answer is no. What you need is to enjoy what you're doing. You need to enjoy the process, and I'm not going to rabbit on anymore. What I will say is, if you've enjoyed it, please do buy me a coffee if you can afford to do so. If you don't want to, or you can't, or whatever, that's absolutely fine. There's no need to do it whatsoever, but please do click the like button and watch these other videos here. We'll see you next week. My eyes are beginning to water.